I'm Tessa and this is Jessica, and we're here with a friend of Kristie Crampton. Uh,
Yes. I'm so nervous about this.
you're good. Can you tell us a little bit about Kristie?
Christy Lee Brandon actually was like her maiden name, like her original name. And then later on, she ended up getting married to a guy named John Crampton. Actually, I've known him for quite some time too, and everybody around here knows him as well. And I believe they had a child together. I believe they had a boy, or I think, yeah, it was a boy. Yeah. Or I think it was, I think she had like more than one kid, honestly. So, well, with a different like father as well. Because like she dated a lot of people back then as well, as much as I did too as well. So we dated each other a long time ago when we were teenagers.
So you've known her for quite some time.
Yes, actually, since she was like 15, I was like 17 at the time, I believe. I'm 35 now, and she's like, right now, she would be like the same, so like 34, right? I believe so. But yeah, like I've known her all like my life. We first met in a teen dance club, pretty much a dance club for us teens to come in because around West Branch in Ogama area, it's small. And so a lot of the people that would come to the club, we would all know each other from like high school and all that. And she was pretty much living in Skidway Lake at the time, and I was living like in West Branch.
What was like her personality? Was she outgoing?
Oh yes, she was very outgoing. I remember when we first met, she was with her friends and like two of her cousins, and I'm like close with her cousins too as well. And they came up to me and was like, "Oh, Christy wants to talk to you and like wants to dance with you and want to go out with you." I was like, "Okay." So we dated for like I think it was, a year. And then she ended up getting with somebody else that had like money and all that, which was okay when he owned like his own party store in Skidway Lake called Ken's Car Wash, and it was he they dated for like a while, and then they split up, and then but every time they split up and stuff, we would like hang out on and off and talk about things that have been going on in our lives, especially turning into adults and getting into things that we shouldn't be getting into. Never thought in my wildest dreams that'd be me and her were getting into like drugs, and it was bad. It was getting pretty bad.
So, what happened to Kristie?
So basically on May 9th, I got a message from her, and I wish I still had the screenshots of it because I actually had screenshots of messages of pretty much of her asking me to pick her up from Ann Arbor Hospital. And I was living at Pontiac at the time, with my sister and my mom and my dad and her husband as well, and my cousin, pretty much B as well. And so she got a hold of me and on Messenger, on Facebook Messenger, and was asking me if I would come drive all the way to Ann Arbor and pick her up. And I was like, that's fine. Um, so I I think it was like I don't know how long of a drive it was. I think it was like almost an hour, like because the traffic, everything, the cars, it was just crazy that day. And I was just like just stressing out because I had my mother blowing up my phone telling me that I needed to bring the car back, or she's going to take the insurance off of it and all that. So the insurance was under her name at the time, and I took the car, and now it's my car though, officially. I bought it, but at the time it was my mom's car, and she had an air tag in it, and she was able to see like everywhere I went, and all that. So I went all the way down to Ann Arbor and got there, did not see her right away. I was like writing her on Messenger, say, "Hey, where are you at?" Finally, I see like she comes out of the emergency room, and she was telling me that she was like in there seeing somebody. I don't know who, I forgot the name of it. but she was telling me this whole story about how her and a group of people almost flipped a car, and it was like late at night and everything like that. And I was like, okay. And at that time, yes, I was looking for some drugs and all that, and she was too. But she told me that she had some. But then when I got there, she's like, I kind of lied a little bit. I don't have anything, but we need to go up north. We need to go up to Skidway Lake. And I was like, okay, that's fine with me because I live in like West Branch area. So like I was able to go anywhere. And plus I had another friend named Melinda basically up in Skoda. And so if like me and Kristie didn't find anything, I was going to go up to Skoda and go hang out and all that. So we get to Bay City. We stop at Bay City because she wanted me to stop in Bay City. I didn't know who the person that she went in the house with or anything like that, but she came out. She's like, "Well, they don't have anything." I'm like, okay. So we started driving back. We started driving up north, and next thing you know, like we get to Skidway Lake. That's where she originally like grew up from. Okay, and she has a brother and a sister as well. An older brother and a younger sister, and I've talked to them about all this before, and like recently we talked about it. And so we're in Skidway Lake, and she goes up in somebody's house. I don't know whose it was, but it was right by the pizzeria that's well known there in Skidway. And she went in the house. There was some belongings of hers in a bag. She grabbed them up, and then nobody was home now. And I'm sitting in the driveway. She comes out, and she's going scavenging through their trash can. And I'm like, okay, so this is something else. Like I'm like, oh my God, honey, what is going on? And she was just telling me a bunch of stuff about how she needs to get help. Um, she's struggling, and I already knew she was struggling because she was using needles at the time, and I witnessed all this. Like this, it's sad, especially she's a mother, and she was just bouncing from house to house to house, with bags of her stuff, her belongings, and I would see this on and off for months, and it was just really upsetting. And so we were like waiting, and nobody was calling us or anything like that. My mom is like watching the air tag where I'm going, and there's like screenshots of that as well. And so she decided, like, okay, well, what about I'm just gonna have you drop me off at where I stay at with my roommate, and I'm gonna get a hold of you tomorrow. So I'm okay. So she had me drive her all the way up past the fairgrounds, Oklahoma County Fairgrounds, and it's on Rifle River Trail Road. And I remember she had me pull into this driveway. It's a dirt driveway, and there was this long fence going all along with, like, pretty much I'm driving and it's all along the trail. And then I turn left and it's finally in the parking lot. I didn't get to see the house. It was dark. It was late at night. And it was turning May 10th because I picked her up in my May 9th during the day. And then when we got to Skidway Lake up north, it turned like past midnight and everything like that. So believe it was like raining a little bit too. She asked if I would give her a little bit of marijuana. I had like an ounce of marijuana, and I gave her some bud and all that. I was like, okay, that's fine, because she was going to smoke with her roommate. This roommate of hers named like Earl, older guy. I never met him before. And plus, not only that, she was hanging out with a group of guys I've never met before too. When every time I met up with her, and we would, basically like do like, stuff together and everything like that. And I never met these guys, but I could tell they were from like downstate, like in Saginaw and Bay City and all that. They were, wearing like kind of like gangster clothes, so pretty much like hooded like stuff, like, you know what I mean? Because I grew up listening to hip hop rap music, so I know like all what's going on with that. And I never met these people before. Well, I pretty much drop her off, and it's like late at night, May 10th, and I drive all the way to Skoda to meet up with my other friend because she had some stuff and all that. So me and her are like doing stuff all night, and then finally I decided I'm done. So I drove all the way back to Pontiac, like early in the morning, like probably like 11 in the morning, probably 10 in the morning, going on 11. And I'm driving all the way back to Pontiac. I get there, get home, like get to my sister's house because I was staying there. and I sleeped it off, and I get up, and it's like probably 9 or 10 something, and the last thing she wrote me was, are you like home? And I was like, no, I had to go back to Pontiac because my mom was like, cussing me out and everything like that. And she's like, oh my God, I told you to stay, around. And I was like, I couldn't. And that was the last thing that I heard from her. That was it. And then next thing you know, a few days later, and I didn't think anything of it, I get a phone call from somebody I knew that I know. He's another family member of mine. And he was like, hey, I have a question for you. When was the last time you heard from Kristie? And I was like, May 9th, I believe. I go back on the messages, I screenshot it, I send it to him. I'm like, like, what's going on? And he's like, well, her sister and her brother are about to make a, missing report. And yeah, nobody's seen her for days. And I'm just like, what? And so I go check back on her Facebook, and I think like the last thing she posted was like pictures of her, like her kid. And I'm like, what is going on? So I start blowing her up. I'm like, what is going on? Hey, are you there? And I'm like calling her. Nothing. Nothing. Like literally nothing. And I just can't believe this is happening. Like it just I picked her up, and then she was there in my car. Next, like drop her off, and then I think she was fine because she can handle things. I thought she could. Even her brother even said so, and she's still missing this very day. There's people literally making rumors saying, "Oh, she's in a rehab in Ohio, and that's why nobody can reach her." Well, that's not true at all. And literally, there was a body found behind the D's Pizzeria. They thought that was her, though that's not true at all. They didn't even identify who it was. And yeah, everybody's just making misleading like stuff about it. And the cops are just not doing nothing. They're not. I don't know how many times people have reported about this, and it still hasn't been taken care of. Supposedly rumors that are saying that the kids get switched to Saginaw Bay City. I don't know. Um, it's just upsetting because she's a mother. She's not just a regular like person. Oh, sorry. Oh my god. Oh, there. Sorry, I thought my audio was off there. Sorry.
Nope.
Okay, but yeah. No, she's not just a friend of mine. She was a mother too, and she had a bad rep like all around. People were saying that she was a snitch, and stuff like that, and saying bad rumors about her. But I never saw her like that. I never saw her like that. I've always just looked at her as a normal human being. And we're all addicts. I mean, literally, we've done our fair share with stuff, but like, we're still human, and we shouldn't be forgotten just because we did some, stuff that's not healthy for us, you know. But she was amazing. She was a true-hearted person, and she actually like helped me through a lot of things in life. She guided me through like some really dark like things. That I was like in deep depression at one point, and I remember there was a few times we've hung out, and I don't remember a lot what she said, but I remember there was some things that just made me feel better again. It made me feel like myself. And she knew about my transitioning and everything that I'm going through with this. Um, because I'm a feminine. I'm a feminine male, but like people look at me as different, like cross dresser or trans or what I mean. But she always looked at me as just me, and she loved me like as me, and I loved her as her, and even all her flaws. There was times I watched her use needles, and I'm just like, I can't believe you're even doing that. And she's like, she was wanting to get the help. She even told me that night when I took her to Skidway, she even told me when we were parked at that house, when she went and got some of her stuff, she told me, she's like, I really want to get this. I really want to get help. We're almost there. And I'm like, I know. I was really hoping for it. And I thought she really did. And then next thing you know, I'm hearing it's not true. There was shit, rumors supposedly she's in Ohio rehab or something like that. And that's not true at all. And just a lot of people around the area just misleading information, and it's just nothing is getting done. It's so upsetting because it's already 2024 and this happened in 2022. So where is she? You know?
Now, I know you said that they did find a body behind the pizzeria, but they've
Yeah.
never identified it. Do you know if
Yeah.
her family has DNA in the system that they
I'm not sure, but I already know. Like, I even talked to her sister about it, and she's like, "No, that was not Kristie at all. It was somebody else, some other female. I don't even know if it was a female or a male. To tell you the truth, like they just said they found a body behind the pizzeria, and I haven't even heard anything much about that either. That's how much like cops around here, they don't care about addicts. They don't. They just look at us as another piece of crap that just they throw away. We all because we, get high and all that. I mean, I'm sober now. I mean, I don't know how long it's been, but like I feel a lot better about myself. And I really wish Kristie would have got the help too because she really wanted it. She really needed it too.
Congratulations on your sobriety, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you.
When you picked her up from the hospital, you said that there was a car accident. Is that what she was at the hospital?
Supposedly she was telling me a story about how her and a group of people were in a car and supposedly almost flipped it. Well, I did some research. I did a little bit of investigating, and I talked to a friend of mine that I went to high school with and all that. And I can't mention names or anything like that, but they know. And they told me about how they sold her a white Buick, sold Kristie a white Buick before she disappeared. And they showed me a picture of it and everything like that. It's a white, and they pretty much had it on Marketplace and all that. Well, I guess supposedly Kristie bought this vehicle. I don't even know where it is now. Um, Literally, her and a group of people, I guess, was in it. And that might have been the vehicle that she was talking about when I picked her up from Ann Arbor, because it was just her by herself. Like when I picked her up, I didn't see anybody else. Now, when I got there, she she pretty much had me walk with her down near this railroad tracks and underneath this bridge, and it was like a bunch of tents and nobody was around, and she was scavenging through them, and I had pictures of this stuff. I literally took pictures of this. I don't know what got me, like, had that feeling to take pictures because I love taking pictures no matter what. I'm a photographer, I'm a graphic artist, and just I decided I was like gonna do this, like take pictures of it and everything like that. And she was just scavenging through people's tents and just trying to find random stuff. I don't know, like, and then finally she was like, okay, let's go up north. And I was like, okay. And I remember stopping at a Myers too. I don't remember on the way up north. I don't remember where it was. I think it was near Pontiac. But I remember she went in for a while, and like I was sitting in my car for quite a while waiting for her to come out. I don't know what she was doing, but she was pretty much like using my hotspot and using my phone because she didn't have an actual phone like had service on it and everything like that. So she was like in on my phone again on her account and all that. And I really wish I was able to still, get on her account or something like that now, because like if I would have known that, oh my God, who knows what's all on her messenger right now. That's crazy.
And you don't know if anybody at all has access to
No,
that?
I talked to her sister and her brother. They don't even have access to it. They don't even know where the phone is that she was using. I mean, literally, like I will still this very day go on Messenger and try to call her through Messenger, and it just keeps ringing, ringing, and then just nothing. That's it. It's just still, I still do it this very day because just to have that high hope, maybe she's still out there. But a lot of people like around here are just telling me flat out, she's gone. That's it. I mean, literally, she's gone. And I don't want to have that feeling. I really hope that I haven't given up on her. Other people have given up on her, but I will never do that ever. And the only reason why people would give up on her is because like she has this reputation of being a snitch and being undercover, like working for police. But the thing is, what I heard from a close source that she was basically busting sex trafficking stuff, like pretty much groups and all that. She was, and I guess supposedly busted down a big one, and it got to the point where it like I think one of her houses ended up getting burnt up, like supposedly on fire, and her sister-in-law was involved with it and all that too. So it's crazy. It's really upsetting, like what's going on. Um, and I just never thought, but when I picked her up, she didn't seem like she was scared or nervous or like was gonna tell me about any of this stuff that I've been hearing from her sister-in-law, you know. And I can't name names or anything like, but yeah, we had a bit deep conversation about it, and I showed her pictures, she showed me pictures. We exchanged like pretty much what our sides of it, and she told me officially Kristie ended up being officially like missing after May 13th of 2022 because she was trying to find a ride to Bay City supposedly, and I don't know who like gave her a ride or even if she even got a ride at all. So
To know who she would have been going to Bay City to see.
yeah, probably a person that she knew deeply to get like pretty much crystal meth.
Mhm.
That's what we were talking about when it comes to drugs. She was using really a lot of it, using needles and everything like that. And I would witness this stuff like here and there when I would go get stuff for myself and like go to parties and all that. And she would show up there because in Skidway and West Branch and all that, everybody's so close together and everybody knows where who, you know. So like parties and hangouts would just, everybody would be there, and so she would be there. She would need rides from me and stuff like that here and there, and I would give it to her. And I remember at one point we actually had a hotel room together, just hang out and just to, get high. And I remember she took like my bong, but she never did anything wrong to me. Like other people, from like what I heard from other people, like she ripped people off and snitched on certain people and all that. But like she never did anything wrong towards me ever. And I just think like she knows, like, because I have like she has a heart and she knows like who I really am. She would never do that to me. But like to other people, like, people are gonna say bad things about other people, like, I mean, so Chrissy just had a true heart, and literally, like, I'm so proud of her actually for helping out when it comes to like the sex trafficking groups that have been going on. It's disgusting, and it needs to stop. It needs to be stopped. And people like her, she's a hero in my eyes.
And just to be clear, she never told you that she was doing that. That was just
No,
put you in
no.
later, correct?
Yeah, I ended up getting it like from my info from pretty much her sister-in-law. I can't name the name of her or anything like that because I don't want to put her too much information about that. But I talked to her and her brother, and it was a long time for me and her brother to talk with each other because at the time when me and him first met, like I was just this punk little kid that, hanging out with his sister and all that, you know what I mean? But he sees me as more of an adult. He's like, "Oh my God, it's crazy like seeing you." Like, wow. I'm like, "I know." And then like we shedded some tears together and I was like, "I'm really sorry about everything that's going on." Because like I feel for a long time I thought this was all in my head and it was just a nightmare that I wish I would just wake up because I picked her up and I always keep saying, what if? What if I did pick her up that day? What if I would have took her with me to Escota or that what if I would have like gave her that ride that she needed? Would she be gone or missing this very day, or she would be safe? And what's really upsetting about all this is she has kids that are wondering when she's gonna come home. And I don't know if I could ever tell them. And even her sister-in-law is the one that's watching them and everything like that now. And that we can't like really tell them much about it. I miss her so much. I think about her every day. And there was people literally telling me I was obsessing about this, but like, well, how would you feel if your closest friend, the one that you grew up with, one day you picked them up and they were in your car and you dropped them off to where they lived, and like, so, a few days later they're gone. And literally, I was talking to her brother, and he was telling me that supposedly the cops came and talked to me about this. They haven't talked to me not once, not once at all. They didn't even try to come see me. They know where I live. They just, I don't know.
And as far as we know, you are the last one to have seen Kristie.
Supposedly, there's another person that is the last person that saw her. I can't name names or anything like that, but supposedly her and Kristie went out fishing and out at a lake out in the middle of the woods between St. Helen and Prudenville. Now, this is what I'm just hearing. And she went officially missing after May 13th. I dropped her off on May 10th. So I was all the way in Pontiac at the time. So all those days that supposedly she was been missing and everything, I was in Pontiac, and I did not even know any of this was going on until I got the phone call from one of my family members asking me when was the last time I talked to Kristie. And I showed him the messages between me and her, and it was May 9th and May 10th, because May 9th is when I picked her up. Then May 10th is like it turned midnight. After midnight, I dropped her off at the house that she was staying at. Now, here's some other crazy stuff that's going on. The roommate that she was living with, this guy named Earl, well, after she went missing, he was like doing live streams and tagging her Facebook, you know, profile. And so all these live streams on her on her Facebook profile, it's all this old guy and some I think his son and stuff like that. And I think there's like a little bits of clips of her in them. I was like observing them and everything, just trying to see if there was any clues that I could see when she was still around and all that. And supposedly, and I don't know the full story of it yet, but supposedly after she and went missing and disappeared, this Earl guy was found in the backyard of like where they were staying at, dead. They like were literally was looking for him for like 5 days or something. They found him in his backyard, pretty much dead after Kristie went missing.
And that was at the house that you last dropped her off at.
Yes, yeah, it was at pretty much. I think like I don't want to say the full address, but it's pretty much near the Ogama County Fairgrounds. And literally, this area is all wooded. It's all trees, and all the people's driveways that you pull into, like all the houses that are separate, all the driveways are all like dirt road, like kind of like driveways. Rifle River Trail, pretty much near the Ogama County Fairgrounds.
Do you know if that area was ever searched, whether by police or by
I don't
family?
know. I don't know. I don't know because again, the police haven't came and talked to me about it or anything like that. Um, I don't know.
Now, his death, was it accidental? What or
I'm not sure.
any like
I just heard from what I heard from some people that know him and know Kristie very well. They were telling me, and they were like, yeah, like he was found dead in his backyard after Kristie went missing, like 5 days after. So she was like, I think officially like missing May 13th. After that, And then like they were looking for him. I guess they put a missing report on for him, this Earl guy. I never met him before, but I could tell like he was like older, you know what I mean? And like he was like kind of like a biker kind of like looking, you know, because there's bikers around here in Ogama County, you know. There's a good few of them now. So,
Yeah. While looking up her case, I couldn't find any media on her, no news, no police. Is
yeah,
there a
yeah.
reason why nothing
So
was ever posted?
so here's the thing. When after I heard about her missing, I went around and I made a post on my original like account on Facebook, okay? And I even had like screenshots of the messages between when she like asked me to pick her up from Ann Arbor Hospital. I had all that stuff. Well, my hard drive wiped out. Like literally, I accidentally tried to put Windows 11 in it, and it wiped out my whole hard drive. But I was able to still salvage that one last pretty much screenshot of the last things that she, you know, said to me in Messenger was if I was still around, and I said no, I had to go to Pontiac because my mom was like cussing me out on the phone, like literally blowing up my phone. And while I'm trying to drive and I got my mom blowing my phone up, I mean, it's distracting, it's stressful. I mean, it was really stressful, especially during the time that I was doing like pretty much doing drugs. It was horrible. It was bad. It was like paranoia behind you all the way. It was bad. It was
Do you know if
horrible.
family ever asked for the media to cover her story or
I don't think so, no, because I even tried to talk to her sister, younger sister about it. She's been so busy, and I talked to her about it like I remember for a while like nobody was hearing it, and I'm like, you know, hey, what is really going on? Like, is she really in a rehab in Ohio? That's what I'm hearing. And she was just like, they haven't done anything. They haven't looked or nothing. They haven't done nothing. Nothing. And what's crazy is like after all this time, recently, like I think it was like last month, somebody I know was able to like obtain her clothes, some of her clothes.
where were they
And
found?
they were found at some house that pretty much near, I was thinking it was next door to the house that I dropped her off at. And I don't know who dropped them off to, who like pretty much they dropped them off to somebody I knew. And they were like, hey, I got like Kristie's clothes. And I was like, really? So I was like in my head, I'm like, I need to see this stuff. I need to see what's going on because like there's got to be some kind of clues what comes to it and all that. Never even.
When was her clothes found?
I found them probably. What month is it now? It's like pretty much November. So last month around like pretty much after October 8th, I think it was.
So they just showed up after 2 years, or were they there
Yeah,
prior?
well, no, like so the person that had them like just was in jail for a while. And I guess supposedly got him like not even that long ago, or had some of it like because she was hanging out with this person, and just left some of her clothes there. And after she went missing and everything, like this person I know that has had her clothes was like, "Hey, I have Kristie's clothes. I was about to take it to the donation center." Da, da, da. I was like, "Let me see this stuff," you know, because I wanted to identify, like, because I have pictures of her and all that. You know, I have pictures of her, and literally, I remember I went into this bag, and it's still upsetting. Like, it's bad. Like I hope you can I hope you can hear me. Hopefully you can. Okay. Anyway, so I went through this bag and there was this black shirt that's kind of see-throughish and all that. You put it over another shirt, and I identified it quick as hell because over the time I've seen her wear these kind of clothes and everything like that. You know, I know what she wears. Me and her wear like almost the same shit. And I was just horrified. I couldn't even believe it because at first I was like, "There's no way this person has Kristie's clothes," and literally all her stuff has been like spreaded out. Like it's not even just one person that had them and everything like that. It's like multiple people that had her clothes. It's bad. Let me find something real quick. Hold on a minute.
She already kind of talked about that.
Okay.
Okay.
So this was the shirt that I identified really quick because there's a picture of her in black and white, and it's on her Facebook, and right away I knew this was hers. I was like horrified. I literally was gasping, crying. I just can't believe it. I mean, I remember this shirt, and I think this was the last thing she wore when I picked her up. I think this was what she wore when I picked her up. She wore some other shirt, and then she wore this over it and all that. And this is on her black and white photo that she has on her Facebook.
Okay, so you did say that she possibly went fishing with someone
Yeah,
after you talked to her last. Do you know what lake that was on?
I'm not sure what lake it is, but it's between St. Helen and Prudenville, from what I was told by a source. Can't name the source or anything because they are afraid of their life as well. Because this person supposedly, that is the person that made Kristie disappear. Supposedly, she was in a bar at Skidway Lake and told this person literally like nobody has to worry about Kristie snitching no more, and that she went and took her fishing and is never going to come back. And then supposedly there's a video of like a surveillance video at the store that's on exit 202. Supposedly her and Kristie were both seen on camera and everything like that
What
day.
day was that?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Not sure.
You said exit 202?
Yeah, exit 202. There's like two gas stations there. When you take that exit, I remember I had a friend of mine, another friend of mine named Desiree. She was that was in let's see, I think it was Alger, I think believe, or Standish, or actually I think it's near Skidway. I know that for a fact because I remember taking 202 exit 202 to go straight down this one road, taking 50, like doing 55, and basically get to Skidway Lake. And Skidway Lake, I'm going to tell you guys this right now. It is small. It is small, and it's almost like a up north Flint, and it's all trailers, pretty much houses that are running down and everything. It's a small town, one gas station and $1. It's small, and literally it's a ghetto. It's the up north like Flint ghetto. It's that bad. I mean, literally everybody goes there to get stuff and get high. And that's where everybody, and you don't want to get caught there, and especially with the police. They'll bust you, and they'll pull you over, and they'll find stuff on you.
And just to be clear, we're not sure that's not the lake that she went fishing at.
No, no, not Skidway Lake. No, the person that told me this information about this one particular person, said that supposedly it's a lake that their family goes to all the time, and it's between St. Helen and Prudenville.
Is it a public lake or a
I'm
private
not
lake?
sure. It's supposedly a pretty much lake in the middle of the woods.
Okay.
And I've been looking at maps and stuff, and I know it's not St. Helen, like the Lake St. Helen, because that lake is just huge. So I don't know. I mean, literally, like I was even wanting to like go look around. I've been driving around and everything like that, kind of like just seeing where she would like be, places that she would be at, because I knew like different places that I picked her up at from and everything like that, or met up with her to exchange, get drugs and stuff like that. I mean, I'm guilty of it. It is what it is. I was an addict, and me and her like helped each other out when it comes to being in this dark world. And it was bad. It was getting really bad. She wanted to help and literally was almost there to get it. But then I don't know if like this person had a plan to get rid of her or whatnot. I don't know. I don't know the full story on it, but I was just told that supposedly this person took her out fishing. And I guess supposedly she snitched on her or something like that. There was some drama going on with it. and she told this one other person at a bar that nobody has to worry about her snitching no more.
Okay. Jessica, do you have any more questions?
Do you happen to know if anyone was questioned in Kristie's disappearance at all?
But mostly, like, if what I heard from her brother, again, like the police came up to them and was talking to them, like her brother and her younger sister, about it, and they asked if the police talked to me at all, and the police told them, yeah, we talked to, Bryce. That's my original name, but I call myself Bree. So yeah, literally, like, they basically said they talked to me, but then they haven't talked to me at all at once, not at all. I even called the sheriff recently. I was like last month. I forgot what day it was. It was the end of the month almost. It was like pretty much after Halloween, because I remember I called right on Halloween and I was like gonna meet up with them. But then next thing you know, like he was like, "Well, what about we try doing this tomorrow because it's Halloween?" I'm like, "Okay." Well, then like I didn't get any phone call, nothing. And my phone, I'm literally near my phone 24/7. I mean, literally, I have my phone all the time, and I have not got one phone call from sheriff or it's pretty ridiculous that this small town, we have three police departments, and it literally, they can't find Kristie. That's a shame. That's really a shame.
And no coverage, no.
Nothing, no, and lying to the family saying that they talked to me when they really didn't.
Right, right.
I mean, I've seen the police corruption in this town, and it's gotten worse. I mean, I thought it would be lightened up a little bit because all the old guys that were pretty much retired are probably gone now and everything. Well, no, it's gotten worse. I mean, literally, I did time for stealing from stores one time. I did 159 days in jail, and literally the COs of the jail were stealing stuff from people's, like, you know, their belongings, like rings and money and all that. It is real. The police corruption when it comes to this small town, it's there, and literally everybody's been hush hush about it, and be that way they can just get away with whatever they want to get away with. And this town, the judges and the lawyers and stuff, they all know each other. They all have lunch together.
Right.
So it's like, how can anybody have a fair chance when it comes to surviving through this town? I mean, I love this town. I do. I love West Branch, but it's so upsetting that there's three to police departments in this town, and not they can't do nothing when it comes to this.
Right.
And you
It's
using your voice is helping the situation, and that's
I'm so just disgusted with the police system here. Um, Even my own family. I mean, literally, if your family has a bad rep around here, you're more likely going to be harassed by the police and all that. They'll
Right.
pull you over for anything, a loud muffler or whatever. They'll make excuses on why they're pulling you over, and they just want to see if you got any drugs in there. That way, they could just basically like get their cut, and they make basically the cops, they do their job. I mean, not all cops are bad, and I agree with that, but there's some that get into the power and it takes over them. And especially in a small town like this, it's not a city. Like, it's a growing city. Like, it's a small little farm town that's been, basically, we've gotten a lot more into it now. We got like Starbucks, Walmart, Meijer now. Back when I was younger, when me and Kristie were young, like teenagers, we didn't have Meijer. We didn't have like Walmart at the time. It was growing. West Branch and like Skidway is still like small as hell. Like, it's just small. And West Branch, it's been growing and growing and growing. But everybody comes to West Branch that are from like Skidway area, Rose City, and that.
Do you have any more questions, Jessica?
no, ma'am.
All right. I want to thank you for your time.
Thank you, guys. And this really does mean a lot because, again, she can't just she can't be just silent from all this. This is upsetting, and she's a mother.
Right.
I mean, just because she has a bad rep doesn't mean anything. It doesn't make her a bad person. She's a human being, just like me and you,
Yes.
and she doesn't deserve to just be silent. Her story needs to be out there, and I don't care what it takes. I will go put it out there for everybody here, even if it kills me.
Thank you for using your voice.
Thank you.
We
I-
appreciate you being
God,
here.
God bless you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.